Good morning and welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek. I'm the choir director here. My name is Pam Whitman. And we are so happy because school is out and we on vacation. Yep. So my Joyful Heart singers are really here to have the inner child come out in all of us today. So be prepared, okay? I'd like you all to stand. We're going to sing a couple songs. Here we go. Unite with me in peaceful prayer, unite with me in song. Together for eternity, unite with me in harmony, unite with me in song. Together for eternity, unite with me. Unite with me in brotherhood, unite with me in song. Together for eternity, unite with me. Unite with me in sisterhood, unite with me in song. Together for eternity, unite with me. Unite with me to bless this land, unite with me in song. Together for eternity, unite with me. Unite with me in peaceful prayer, unite with me in song. Together for eternity, unite with me. Together for eternity, unite with me. Good. Now we're on to our second song, which is Oh Ya Hey Ya. How many of you have sung that before? Excellent. I think when you hear it, it will probably bring back this song for some of you. All right, David. I am listening to the music of the Holy, Holy Spirit. Oh, what a song God is singing. I will listen all day long. I will listen all day long. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. Hallelujah. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. Hallelujah. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. Hallelujah. There's a silence in the stillness of the Holy, Holy Spirit. Oh, what a light God is shining. Let us see it everywhere. Let us see it everywhere. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. Hallelujah. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. Hallelujah. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. Hallelujah. Praise the Spirit. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. Hallelujah. Oh, praise the Spirit. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. Hallelujah. Thank you. I think you should all join the choir. You may be seated.
The Joyful Heart Singers. Our own Joyful Heart, yeah? With the band Fusion, who I like to call the boys in the corner, accompanying them. Our own Pam Whitman as director. And I have a guessing game for you. We have a special soloist this morning, Dr. Beth Hulbert. You have to guess which one she is. Good morning. My name is Ron, and I am a licensed Unity teacher here at Unity Walnut Creek, and it's my honor to open the services this morning for you. And it's such a pleasure because I get to see all those individual expressions of God looking up at me. I am blessed. If you're new here to Unity, welcome. We are so glad that you are with us. And we hope that you find exactly what your heart was looking for this morning. And after the service, if you'd like to join us on the patio, we have a welcome table on the back explaining a little bit about Unity and our activities here at Unity of Walnut Creek. Unity focuses on universal truths. And one of those universal truths is that we respect every pathway to that divine spirit that's within all of us and all around us. We know that there are many paths to that one divine spirit as there are hearts on this planet. And because we respect each one of these, you may hear different teachings from us, or you may hear different lyrics from our music. But we know they lead to that one place, that divine spirit within all of us and all around us. Excuse me. And so I don't forget some of the most important people on the planet, the people online. So if you please turn around and help me say hello to the people online. Thank you very much for being here. We are glad you're with us. And please know that you are a very special part of our spiritual community. So Unity is a positive spiritual path for spiritual living. Attitude of gratitude. Can you say that with me? Attitude of gratitude. That's one of the keys to positive living. And so in a moment, we're going to say our affirmation claiming that divine spirit that's within all of us and all around us. But before we do that, we're going to practice that attitude of gratitude, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take a deep breath. And as we exhale, we're just going to say thank you. And then we'll move on to our affirmation, okay? So take a deep breath. Exhale and say thank you. And our affirmation. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. And just soak that in and know it to be true. Let's say it again. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. And just soak that in ever deeper. And know it within every cell in your body. And let's repeat it once more. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Isn't that nice? And that's the truth. So please join us in our next musical selection.
Silence, there is peace. In the silence, there is unspoken joy. In the silence, there's release. From a world full of chaos and noise, so I wait for those precious moments when I hear all that could never be said and
Take that deep breath through your heart. As we turn within and enter into that deeper place of prayer, of spiritual connection and awareness. And as we journey into our time of deeper prayer, we start with a blessing from our heart ministers. Alexandra, would you share that with us?
Prayer of compassion for the Orlando tragedy. Mother, Father God, God of love, compassion, healing, and peace, we pray with and for the victims of the Orlando tragedy, their families and community. We open our hearts in compassion and peace for the souls of those brothers and sisters whose lives were taken. We send the power of your healing love to those who were injured. We offer comfort for their families as they strive to heal. We offer support for the entire community of Orlando as they work to bring peace and renewal. We offer forgiveness for the gunman. In your care and keeping, we surrender this tragedy and all those impacted by it. Thank you, God, for your ever-flowing love. And so it is.
At that place of compassion and love, knowing that beautiful power of prayer. 2 days ago, I got to sit in the chapel at Silent Unity, in that place where that consciousness of prayer has been unending for 125 years, where millions of people called and where people from this tragedy that we just acknowledged, so many called to know and find that spiritual support. How wonderful it is to know that there is this presence of divine love, this powerful compassion that can flow through our hearts, and this wisdom that guides us into wholeness. So join me now as we take that deeper journey into that connection and that awareness, as we let that sacred blessing unfold through us. As we go there, let the music be part of that guide to the very center of our hearts. I invite you to join with our choir. Feel that presence. the beautiful sacred ohm, the acknowledgement of God as Father, as Mother, as Presence, the awareness that there is only love. This divine presence in every moment, in every situation. As we meet the challenges of our lives, some that are painful and tragic, others that call us into response and care for those around us, others that open us to let that greater flow of guidance and wisdom fill our lives. In all, this divine presence is the reality, is completely present in every moment, in every thought, in every feeling. And it constantly calls us home into that place where our hearts connect without limit, where that love is our reality. There is only love. There is only love. There is only God. That is the greater truth of life. And gratefully, we awaken. As we let go to open to that truth at depth, we let the mind become still. We let the heart fill with that serenity that comes from knowing this love. We let go and enter into the sacred silence, the stillness that the Master called us to. Peace, be still. Peace, be still. Peace. Beloved presence, Father God, infinite love, Divine Mother, are grateful that you flow through our hearts as this power that we know and feel and experience as love. And that we can direct this sacred, beautiful power. For it brings healing and blessing. It brings upliftment and creates harmony, forgiveness, connection. And so we gently let it flow through the cells of our bodies, awakening each cell, each system, into its full wholeness and divine purpose. And now on this Father's Day, we send this love and embrace that one that was Father. It matters not if they are on this side or have released that physical body and journeyed on. And as we embrace that one that was physically Father, so expand that beautiful experience of Father awareness. And we embrace those who were fathers to us, who fulfilled that role given by the Divine Father of love and strength, protection and compassion, of understanding and beholding the light that is within us. We breathe that love to each one. Let it carry gratefulness, blessing, healing. As we now, children awaken, behold those fathers and see the radiant light each is. This beautiful love that we share with fathers, we now share with each one who is dear to us. Blessing, lifting, guiding, healing. This beautiful love we let flow across our spiritual community, blessing each one. This love embraces every prayer request brought here. For we hold each in our hearts, knowing with you the truth. You are enfolded in divine love and lifted to that which is the highest. This love, this spiritual power and light that flows through our hearts, flows across the communities in which we live, across our nation, and on to bless the peoples of the world with wisdom, with peace. We send this divine love. We send it out, joined by all who join us in prayer, whether in mosque or synagogue, temple or church, whether gathered at home or on the hillsides. For in seeking to know you, we are all one. This love flows through our hearts. We send it to this beautiful earth to bless and bring balance to her systems. Rain where it is dry, calm where there is storm, blessing to her creatures, wisdom to her people. And this love that flows through our hearts, we send it about the earth that it might touch the heart of every single person in the earth. For beloved presence, you are that love in every heart. And in this love, we are one. Divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. Please join me. Divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. And again, divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. And once again, divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. It is so, in that beautiful presence of the love that each one is. Amen.
Every rolling stone gets to feeling alone when love, sweet love, seems far away. I'm a rolling stone who's been so alone until today. Ba-da-da-dum.
Gonna take a very special journey. Gonna set my heart at ease. Gonna make a very special journey to restore my inner peace.
Ba-da-da-dum.
Got my source, I got my inspiration. Got myself back in the flow. When I'm there, I get appreciation. I can feel my love start to grow. Rolling, that's the path we're on, it's loving. That's what we're about, it's loving. Get into the place where love abides. It's here inside.
Ba-da-da-dum.
Gonna take a very special journey. Gonna set my heart at ease. Gonna make a very special journey to restore my inner peace. Loving, that's the path we're on, it's loving. That's what we're about, it's loving. Get into the place where love abides. It's here inside.
Ba-da-da-dum.
Gonna take a very special journey. Gonna set my heart at ease. Gonna make a very special journey to restore my inner peace. Gonna make a very special journey to restore my inner peace.
Well, you must have done something wrong. You've got the second string for the platform announcers today. But knowing that you're good at forgiveness, I'll go ahead. So I do want to share with you, we have some wonderful events coming up. And a couple of them are down the road, farthest away, but still it's time to get the tickets because It's going to be a fabulous event. The place is going to be packed, and you want to be here for sure. And that's our Jazz on the Lawn. That at the end of July, it's going to be Mardi Gras jazz from New Orleans. So it is going to be good. And not far away, just a couple Saturdays, is Tacos del Sol. Now, for those of you that have done this before, this is actually an event put on by our men's group. And these guys know how to cook. They know how to party. They know how to help everyone have a fabulous event. So this is pure spirituality called fun. Okay, so be sure, and that information's in your bulletin. But I want to let you know, this week is a very special week here at Unity. For some time, I've been asking Reverend Sheila to really help us enter into the understanding of the consciousness of the divine feminine. And that consciousness is portrayed in the biblical stories of the different women that appear in the Bible. And I believe that this is very important for this time, because I think it's part of the transformational consciousness that we are entering into as humankind. And so each evening, Monday through Thursday, she's going to take us through a different part of that developing consciousness as we embrace moving together from the imbalance that so often is a part of our struggles into that beautiful balance between the male and female aspects of the spirituality within us. So a very, very special program through this week. And then Saturday, I will be sharing with you the cut-through workshop. Now, I do this only once a year, and this is where I teach the process of cut-through. And basically, it's the only place in the world where you're going to get it. It's not something that HeartMath shares publicly elsewhere. And it is tremendously transformational. So many people have been touched by it that we do have people that regularly guide individuals through it. But this is the only time where we actually teach how to go through this very powerful transformational process. And that will be on Saturday from 9 to 1. So wonderful things coming up. Now take a moment and greet those around you. And just a warning for the folks that may be new to Unity. There are a lot of huggers in this place. So if you're a shaker, get your hand out there, or, you know.
I'm a hugger. Happy Father's Day. Happy Grandfather's Day.
And we're all going to sing together. Come on, back up. Back up. Back up. You will learn later why this is important. You will live longer. Okay. Which is good. It's a good thing. We're going to be singing Father, I Adore You, which is, I think, a pretty common hymn that we all know. And we're going to do it as a round later. So be prepared for that. We'll just let you learn it first, okay? Here we go. father group over here, and you're led by the fabulous sopranos. And then here in the middle, a little bit on that side, a little bit on this side, you are the mother group, and you're led by the awesome tenors. And then over there, you bring it up with spirit, right? You've got a lot of spirit, and you've got the basses and the altos. Okay, here we go. We're starting with the fathers first. Ready?
Father, I adore you.
Fathers.
Lay my life before you. Spirit, I adore you. Lay my life, I adore you. Lay my life adore you. Spirit, I adore you. Lay my life, I adore you. Lay my life, adore you. Spirit, I adore you. Lay my life before you. How I love you.
Everybody. How I love you. Thank you, and we do.
No rest.
I like to fill the world a home and furnish it with love.
Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves.
I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I'd like to hold it in my arms and keep it company. I'd like to see the world for once, all standing hand in hand, and hear it echo through the hills for peace throughout the land.
That's the song I hear.
Let the world sing today. A song of peace that echoes on and never goes away. Put your hand in my hand.
Let's begin today. Put your hand in my hand. Help us find a way.
I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I'd like to hold it in my arms and keep it company. I'd like to see the world for once, all standing hand in hand, and hear it echo through the hills for peace throughout the land. That's the song we hear.
Thank you, thank you. What a treat. Happy Father's Day. And just to acknowledge those wonderful beings called dads, present here, would all the fathers stand up? All right. Okay, now grandfathers. Grandfathers. Okay, the grandfathers, yeah. great-grandfathers. All right. Oops, Oh, what a wonderful thing, and blessings to our fathers and those people who played that role of father, as so many wonderful beings did for each of our lives. Yeah. One of the things I really enjoy Father's Day. On Mother's Day, I had to wear a suit and tie because that's what my mother would have wanted. My father was an engineer, and anything that's comfortable works. So we get to do that differently. So I'm giving myself a Father's Day present today, and it really is to me an acknowledgement of my father. My father was a true spiritual seeker and an inspiration to my life in that way. And so often we would be off to learn more, to find that person who was bringing forth the discoveries, the understanding, the new perceptions of ourselves as spiritual beings, and what that meant, and how we brought it into our lives. And so I'm going to invite up here someone who is that in our midst. And it's Garret Reigg, who many of you know. You've taken classes from Garret. He is one of our wonderful teachers, or prayed with him. He's one of our heart ministers. And often we sometimes forget that he's also a world leader in the theosophy work, this beautiful work that he has served as president and leader of, and lecturer on 3 different continents, and inspired and brought to so many. But of course we know that that's just the beginning. He has so many deep spiritual passions that he shares. So help me welcome Garret Reigg. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, it's a great honor to be here. This is my favorite place for giving a talk or a speech or whatever. It's a rare honor, and I really appreciate it. And I hope I can live up to the wonderful words of Reverend David. I'm here because our country especially is facing a crisis right now. And it's a crisis that also involves directly and indirectly fathers. Because we fathers, our first duty usually, traditionally at least, is to sort of protect the home and the family and the country and all these things. And there's a lot of difficulty and sadness in our world right now. Depression is at an all-time high in America. And we thought we found the magic bullet, which was anti-depressant pills. And they don't work. They're very dangerous. So right now, we're of course very sad for all the killing in America, which also goes back to our roots and our culture. And a lot of people die from guns, even most of them by suicide. Even more people die from automobile accidents. The leading cause of death now in the last 2 years has doubled or tripled in the last 5 years. That's death because of opioids, painkillers, antidepressants, and of course cocaine and heroin and all the rest of them. But the thing is, we have medicated our society to such an extent. Sometimes we have as many as 30 or 40%, for example, of middle-class, middle-aged white women on antidepressants. It's a huge number. Some of them are doing 2 or 3 antidepressants or painkillers. It's not healthy. And this proliferation of drugs means the kids get it and bad things happen. I'm also here because it hit me at home last year. I advise a fraternity at Sonoma State University. One of the brightest young men chatted with me a bit about his joy at being his part-time job of being a cameraman for the 49er football team. Just loved it. Was very happy he was going to graduate. He had a wonderful girlfriend. He got a great career all lined up. Then I got a call in the middle of the night saying something went wrong. He had been celebrating with his friends. 3 a.m. in the morning, they found him face down in the hallway next to his bedroom. And he had died from binge drinking and opioids. Some kind of painkiller he was getting high on. And the sad thing was, I found out during the funeral arrangements that he wasn't on good terms with his father. His father had left after the divorce. And he had no brothers or sisters, so the fraternity was really important to him. And then I realized that I was sort of the father figure to that fraternity, and it was very hard on me. We spent a year on probation. During that time, the university investigated, and we did our own interviews, and we found out that 35% of the students were not just binge drinking, but they were also using either marijuana or other drugs. Easily 35%. Probably 50% because a lot of them dropped out when they knew we were going to be asking and testing. So it's a very critical issue right now, which fortunately most of us aren't aware of unless it hits our families or our friends. On the other hand, there are answers out there for depression, for sadness, for brain atrophy, in other words, dementia, Alzheimer's. We now know how to preserve and enhance our brain power. We know how to get better brain longevity, thanks to a lot of modern science, especially the magnetic resonant imaging, MRIs. They can take a video of your brain while you're thinking different things. They can see the effect of your thoughts and your emotions. So a couple of scientists, actually many of them at the University of Pennsylvania, studied all these thousands of different research studies and experiments around the world. And they came up with 8 ways that we can improve our brains, make them healthier, make ourselves happier, give ourselves general health as well, because everything goes through the brain. You know, in Unity, we are spiritual beings having a human or earthly experience. The only way that spiritual being gets through to us is through our brain. Our brain's our computer. It's our translator. It's our everything. It's our memory bank. Now, we can have a consciousness without the brain. We know that from near-death experiences and from 36,000 studies of reincarnation on a scientific basis. So the mind is much bigger than the brain, but the brain is our best tool, and it's an amazing tool. Our brain has 20 billion neurons, and they all connect with thousands, if not millions, of other neurons. That's how we think. Each little neuron sends out a thread, and this thread becomes a connection to another one they call a synapse. And the more synapses you have, the better you think. And as you kill your synapses with negative activities, you lose brain power. So these 8 techniques I thought were kind of fun and interesting, and spirituality can be fun because now science is really verifying in very fascinating ways all the things that the ancient religions taught about how to live your life. And it's kind of fun to say, hey, science is discovering this? Well, it's giving us much more credibility and understanding and day-to-day techniques that I think will help us. So here's the 8 in descending order. I'm starting with number 8 on the list. We'll work our way up to the most important. But number 8 is kind of fun because it's something you can do very easily. I see a lot of it around Unity. You can smile. All right, that's technique number 8. Smiling spreads happiness, but it also triggers the right neurotransmitters in your brain that trigger chemicals going through your blood and help you get healthy. So Smiling, liking people, loving people, doing favors for people is great. They did an experiment, and they gave half of the patients a little bag of jelly beans. They said, when you go into your doctor for your diagnosis, and these were people with very serious diagnoses that couldn't be figured out, he said, give your doctor these jelly beans as your bit of appreciation. The doctors who got the jelly beans were 20% more accurate on their diagnoses. And that's a big jump. That saved a lot of lives. So if you're going to the doctor and they have to figure out what's wrong with you, bring him some jelly beans. Or tell him you appreciate what he's doing. Doctors don't always get appreciated. Number 7 on the list is something you probably all know about. You've heard it on the radio. They're advertising for luminosity. I hear it all the time. You exercise your brain. You do thinking puzzles and things, and it helps your brain to do well. Well, actually, they haven't had any long-term studies of things like luminosity, and they are a little skeptical that it helps long-term. But they do know that when you think big ideas and challenging thought problems, it helps your brain. It exercises, it builds new neuron connections, new synapses, and you will get a much denser neural, what do they call that? It's kind of like a texture to your frontal lobes, which just means you have better reasoning powers. Now, you can also do games. They find that playing chess helps people who are very old and starting with dementia. And they can reverse a lot of dementia just by playing chess, because it's challenging. You can also do video games. My grandkid was happy to hear this. But then I said, but okay, only certain video games, because the negative ones, the ones with violence or good and evil, those don't work. Those hurt your brain. Those really hurt your outlook on life. So we want to avoid the negative, and that's going to be a theme throughout here. Number 6, relax. And that doesn't mean be a couch potato, but relax by consciously thinking about your muscles and your posture, and let your body go, okay? And sometimes you have different techniques. You can shake your shoulders, deep breaths help. Relaxing you might think makes you less alert, but actually it makes you more alert. When you're relaxed, you're more tuned in to your environment. You're a safer person, whether you're driving or whether you're giving a talk or whatever. If you can relax, all the better. And gentle music can help. Rituals can help. Just watching a ritual like at some churches, we have a little bit of ritual here, can help you. And doing things like knitting that's repetitive or a mantra, it helps your brain to kind of feel comfortable and safe, okay? And stop ruminating and worrying, which you never want to do, okay? So that's number 6. Number 5, kind of related to that, a good way to relax and become alert and aware is to use your mouth, not with a smile. Well, smiles are good, but there's another way, and they've all heard it, so they can't tell you. And it's not singing, which would be great. And it might be singing, but we haven't proven that yet. This one is well proven, and it goes back hundreds of years. Yawning. Would you have guessed that yawning helps your brain? Yawning makes you smarter, more alert. And maybe it's because when you're sleepy, you yawn because your body wants to wake up a little bit. In the process of yawning, you stretch some muscles, you breathe a little deeper maybe. Whatever it is, it triggers the brain to release really good stuff. And when they test students by telling them to yawn 5 times before they take the test, they do much better on the test. Double-blind study, very reliable. And they actually have 36 different studies of the benefits of yawning. 36 around the country and the world. And they all show that it helps your brain. So yawn. I'm not offended. I know you're not bored. But if you yawn a little bit, it will help you to stay tuned in. A little bit counterintuitive. Now, when you're yawning and you're relaxed, what do you do next? You probably all know this, and the Tibetan Buddhists are famous for it. It's meditating. And that beautiful meditation that Reverend David led us on, even the guided meditation part is good, but the silent meditation is the most helpful. Deep control of your mind, your brain, really. It's your mind controlling your brain. Your mind is the real you. And you have to control those emotions. And you get the strength to do that from meditating, okay? Especially when you just meditate to clear your mind, because you're then saying, thinking part of me, stop. Let me get to the deeper, more spiritual part of myself. So they can see the Tibetan lamas have different brain structures. And when they give classes in meditation to people, after 5 weeks, they start to have different brain structures already. They can see the change in brain waves, which is significant. So meditation's great, and it triggers anti-stress hormones. So for people who are stressed, doctors now are telling you, try meditation. And prayer is about the same. Prayer also has the positive vibe, usually of praying for the good of others, which helps you too. So that's why we heart ministers really have a great privilege of being able to pray with people, and to try to put it on a higher level. The third one, you probably all know, because it's general health. They tell you to do it if you want to stay healthy, but it's also good for the brain. It's like good nutrition, and in this case, exercise. Now, actually, to help the brain, any exercise helps your body, but to help the brain, you need aerobic exercise, deep breathing exercise. So, bicycling maybe, running, swimming, tennis, walking up a hill quickly. If you can get yourself breathing a little harder, that's going to help your brain, more oxygen. Number 2, this is the important one. These are the last 2. Dialogue, talking. And talking with someone you care about on a deep level. It can be one-on-one, it can be a group, it can be like this. But talking stimulates the brain. When you do it and when you key into someone else. The other thing is, of course, that talking is wonderful for your life because this is what makes us human. This is how we cooperate. We exchange information and feelings. That's where it really gets important. If you can get down to exchanging your feelings, that's the real you. All the logic and all the memories and stuff, that's your computer brain. Feelings are your real self, your real heart. So, I gave you a handout. If you didn't pick it up, it's okay. There's more out there, probably. Meaningful dialogues. And we'll get to it in a minute. We'll come back to it. But I want to give you first the final top way of helping your brain. And I don't think most of you would guess it. You can be thinking in your own mind, what else is left out here? A few things are left out because science can't validate them yet, like sleep. Exactly how it affects the brain. They know it affects the brain greatly, but and diet is too complicated for sure for scientific certitude. But this one is very clear, and it's number 1. This is from psychiatrists, not ministers. Number 1 is faith, spirituality, and not just going to church, not just religion, because some religions are actually sort of negative. The idea of an authoritarian, cruel, punishing God actually depresses a lot of people. And when they put you on the MRI, they can see it doing bad things to your brain. We're fortunate that we have a much more uplifting, loving idea of spirit and God in this church. So faith, and it doesn't have to be a religious faith. Atheists and agnostics can have faith. You might remember there was I remember, now I'm forgetting. This great writer about the Jewish Holocaust observed that, thank you, Viktor Frankl. He noticed, and he did a study more or less, I think it's more than anecdotal, of how people came out of the Holocaust after being scared to death and losing many of their relatives and being starved in many cases, or even tortured in a sense. Some people flourished and some people really couldn't cope with it. He said the only thing he could see that made a difference was their faith. He said even the Jews who lost faith in their image of God, in their protective sort of more anthropomorphic God, if they had a faith in humanity or in history or in their Jewish culture or in their own abilities, that faith, that ability to get over their doubts and to believe something strongly was very, very supportive of their future life and flourishing. So we should all be grateful that we're here and we get to share our faith a little bit. I want to go back to dialogue. It's one way we share our faith too. And I have this handout because these scientists basically have found a dozen ways of helping and improving your communication and your dialogue. And we all know that communication is pretty much the key to relationships. And you'll see that a lot of these reflect the same things that help your brain because they're trying to get you in a mindset that is positive and loving and caring about the other person. And they give you ways to stay in that place, like speaking briefly, listen deeply, speaking warmly and slowly, reflecting on your deepest values. These things are all good for your brain too and your body. So it even has yawning at the very first and relaxing. So you can see how they are very coordinated. What's good for the brain is good for the communication. And number 11, the hardest thing of all, listen to negativity without reaction or judgment. Reframe it into something positive. We learn how to do that a little bit in nonviolent communication, but it's very, very hard. I have trouble with it myself. I've been working on it for 20 years. So we're not going to all become experts at this, but I do want to give you one example of how this can work. And it relates to somebody who was not my biological father, although I have a wonderful real father, but he was my father figure in college when I was the same age as Francis, who died of the drug overdose. I went to work for Beacon's Moving and Storage because it was good money, and I was a young athlete, and I liked moving furniture all day long. And I really did love it. And my partner, I was amazed. He was such a craftsman. He could load that truck so perfectly, get everything in there, that for the whole summer, we didn't have any damage claims at all. Most drivers would have 20 or 30 in a summertime. You know, things break. Things get scratched. Occasionally they got scratched, but Bill was such a diplomat and so nice to people, such a good heart. They said, just okay, we don't care. We're not going to file a claim against you. And I realized that Bill had suffered a lot and learned how to be very kind. He came from Oklahoma as an African American to California, couldn't find a job, became a drunk, a severe alcoholic, homeless for a while. He got a job with Cherry's Moving and Storage in Alameda, 1958 or so. All black moving company because they were all segregated. There was no law of equal employment then, no Civil Rights Act. He only had 2 or 3 days of work each week from that company. They were struggling. It was a tiny company. So he went to Beacon's Moving and Storage, the biggest moving company in the world. They had 50 drivers and trucks in Oakland. And he said, "Can I work for you?" "No, we don't hire blacks. Are you crazy? Go back to Cherry's." "No, I really want to work for you guys. I'll be here. I'll help out, whatever you want. I'll sweep the floors." No. He went there every day for like 3 months. Not every day, but several days a week. Finally, they had an emergency. Somebody didn't show up. They were sick. "Gosh, we really got to do this job. We got an out-of-town truck here. You want to work for a few hours?" Okay, he worked for a few hours. 3 weeks later, he got another job like that. After 3 years of part-time work there, they hired him. And during that time, and even after they hired him, most of these Teamster truck drivers were real racists. I mean, rednecks, the worst. They cussed him out. They slashed his tires. They spit on him. He never replied in kind. He took their abuse. And my second summer of working with Bill, they had an election for the union steward, the top guy for all the union workers. And even though by then they had integrated Beacons, thanks to Bill, and there were about 10 or 15% African Americans, the surprising thing was that all those white workers and truck drivers voted for Bill almost unanimously to become the union steward. It was an absolute miracle. 1964. That really amazed me. And a couple years later, I went to Alabama to work in the war on poverty. I thought a lot about Bill because he'd come out of poverty by himself, and he'd helped all these guys get good union jobs. And I called him up when I got back, and I said, Bill, how you doing? You still got your job? Oh, yeah. Still steward? Oh, yeah. I'm really happy to be steward. And he said, guess what? Remember I adopted that little girl? I said, yeah, I remember. He says, well, I adopted 2 more. Wow. So he was 50 years old. He was starting a family because he had screwed up his early life. He raised those girls. When I called him 15 years later, 2 of the girls were in high school. The oldest girl was already going to college. They were all getting great grades, doing wonderfully. You have to understand, Bill never even went to high school. So he did all this in his life because he turned around and somehow he found the inner strength. And he knew how to take this negativity and change it into something beautiful and positive. So that's why Bill, to me, was a wonderful father figure and a real hero. So thank you for letting me share that.
You just can't count on the second string, you know. It's okay. This is a very important time in our service because it's the point where we make the effort to really communicate and support each other. The instrument that we use is the connection cards, which are on the clipboard in the seat pocket in front of you. But it's our chance to really come together and bring our prayer requests to the wonderful prayer ministry that we have, to our heart ministers. And so throughout the week, the prayer requests that you put down there, the people you would like us to pray with, there will be many people every day in prayer with them, noontime here. Every request is spoken aloud and acknowledged in our time of prayer. It's a very deep and powerful way that we support each other as a spiritual community with this beautiful spiritual practice. So I invite you to fill this out, and there's also the opportunity there to let us acknowledge and support you. So as you do that and take that step towards communicating and opening to support from all of us, there's another support which we seek to really be consciously aware of, and that's that all of the good in our lives is a flow from this divine source. And so as we take our offerings and we prepare for that blessing, we take that time to remember that every blessing in our life is an expression of this divine love for each of us. And we join in that through our prosperity blessing. Please join me. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We are so grateful. We are so deeply blessed.
Hello, I'm Dr. Beth, if you didn't read my shirt. And I am America's teenologist. You may say, what's a teenologist? I am a psychologist for children and parents, and especially teenagers. Why? We are all dressed like a bunch of crazy teenagers up here. And I wrote some songs with my phenomenal, lovely mom, who I hope is listening from Nashville, Tennessee today. And we had a blast writing these songs. And this one is in particularly to serenade the fathers. Is there a father in the house? All right, have you dads ever had a time when your children didn't do what you wanted them to do? Just once. Anytime, ever. All right, well, this song is going to explain all of that and tell you what's really going on. And for those thankless moments that you feel as a dad, those invisible times where you don't understand what in the world to do with those crazy kids, and especially the teenagers, we're going to give you a few cues. So sing along, dance along, have fun, and welcome. And happy Father's Day. To be close on my terms, and then I like space to be me.
Trust me.
I like to know what you think, and then test what I believe. I like to know you are there, and then I go explore everywhere. Right now I'm letting you know that I need to go. Staying on the right track. Next to you I feel strong, and then I go explore everywhere. If you don't let you know, I need some safety slack. Oh wait. I need to know. It's my job to be secure and true. You mirror me and I will mirror you too. Tune into me so I can tune into you. I want to test where I end, so then I know where you begin. You keep me safe as you can, so I can be as big as I am. So big, but don't let you know, then I need some safety slack. And if I don't let you know, then I need some guidance back. This little game of coming back to you, it's my job to be secure and true. You mirror me and I will mirror you too. Tune into me so I can tune into you. I like to play with you and then play alone too. I like to spend time with you and then have some me time too. When I look away, that's your clue. And when I'm looking back, I hope I'm seeing you. Little game of coming back to you, it's my job to be secure and true. You mirror me and I will mirror you too. Tune into me so I can tune into you. Oh yeah, tune into me. What's that? Tune into me. Tune into me so I can tune into
right, let's embrace these beautiful beings with our heart and share our blessing together. Children, you are loved, special, and important. The light of God shines through you. And let's take hands and we'll share our prayer of protection together. And I just want to acknowledge our wonderful Joyful Heart singers. This is their end of a wonderful year. They're going to take the summer off and be back with us in the fall. Thank you all. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And our peace song. Are the love and the light and the peace in the earth right now. So let it shine and have fun.